Now, before we jump any further into this particular comment, I want some of you to realize that a lot of folk who are on the PlayStation side, when they argue, they really do it out of contempt. And what it does is it really does expose what I think is major flaws within their arguments. And sometimes I don't think they really care about the holes in or the weakness in their logic, and they still put their arguments out there, maybe hoping that somewhere somehow it's going to stick. Sometimes these folk almost fight against mathematics and data. I mean, it's insane. Sometimes they'll fight against it. Sometimes they'll tell you that you're crazy for actually even having brought up the data. I've seen different pieces of this particular thing manifest, and you're going to continue to see it. What I think is a good solution is we continue presenting the numbers, and I'm not going to recommend anybody choose anything other than if they said, hey, VG, what would you recommend in different contexts? I'll give them my opinion. User here says Game Pass gives you base game of the game. So for all you Game Pass lovers always missing out, you pay $240 for Game Pass, then realize Doom Premium comes with DLC and other things. So do you buy the premium, albeit at a 10% discount? So now you paid $240, let's say totaling $60 at $300. They said PSN, you get the essential PSN package for $79.99. Well, hold on. Are you going to compare PlayStation Essential with Game Pass Ultimate? If you want to do that, I can always point you to the PlayStation Plus subreddit where they tried it, and they found out that Game Pass just obliterates every single time the PlayStation Premium package. Because the PlayStation Premium package is not going to give you day one games. So you saying Doom and PlayStation Essential already ends the argument. Does that make sense? You didn't even get far enough, and you've already brought me a pineapple and said, hey, man, let's compare it to that blueberry. And I'm thinking to myself, well, a blueberry is a much more resilient product, has what I think are major health benefits. A pineapple is fine, but it's sugar content. You want to go all technical and scientific? We can do that. But the PlayStation proposition is going to lose. Don't do this. Why would a PlayStation user want to abandon mathematics? Then they said, PSN gives you the PSN package for $79 and you buy the premium game for $99. On PlayStation, your total is $179. No. PlayStation Premium plus your $79.99 game is what you should be actually taking into account. So already, PlayStation Premium total annual cost, which is at least $160 a year, right? And then now we can talk about that $160 plus your $80. So a calculator will help me. Sorry, let me do it. I can do a calculator here. $180, right? That's what it costs, right? Sorry, 160. 160 plus 80. You are now at $240 for a subscription that gives you basically almost no day one games, isn't giving you a AAA day one game, and you've paid for an Xbox game. Now, for that $240, the Game Pass user has, at this point, since Call of Duty or so, and some other titles that you can put in there that are legacy, like Minecraft, is already sitting on $844 a game for a measly $240. Your PlayStation Plus Premium can't even touch it. That's why this whole thread exists. I'll keep reading your comment just, for the sake of it. They said, so with one premium, we already get Game Pass for $300 for the year. Yeah. And you don't get a slew of titles that are available on Game Pass. Day one titles that you can engage in, Ubisoft games in some regard, EA Play, which is also part of that subscription model, And so, yes, the value that you're hiding with this Doom example is there looking you at the face and going, what are you talking about? Then there are third-party games like Expedition 33, Revenge of the Savage Planet, Sniper Elite, and others that are coming pretty soon, like Ninja Gaiden 4, right? That you will not get your hands on for that $240 a year on your PlayStation Plus. This is exactly why I said you attempted to skip a mathematical reality, but it's going to burn. So you saw on PSN, we're now on 179. No, you're already in 240. But now let's add Indiana Jones. Look at this guy. At what? You said $99? Let me see. Where's that comment? Let's add Indiana Jones. And the premium, we pay, and we are now at $360 for the premium game. Game Pass is $200 for Game Pass and $278 on PSN. Yeah, right. 240. The premium edition of that game was $99. So you're at $339. You see, this is the problem. You know what? Let's keep going. Now you can say, well, Game Pass has a cheaper version as well. And well, then we go further. Now, hold on. You do know that on Xbox here, the Indiana Jones game is already discounted basically at launch, right? On Game Pass, you've already beaten the game. You have a save file to the game, and you can purchase the game whenever you choose to. In fact, right now, my save for Starfield is still here, and I have not bought the game yet. I'm waiting for the game to get to maybe $12, 20. I bought the, premium package, so I only have a certain amount that I'm going to spend on the game. And that's it. No one's forcing me. I've already played what I want to play. If I want to play more, I can go back and play, or I can move on. I don't have to sit here and, start pining over some digital title that is DRM controlled and everything. Does that make sense? So you're over here yelling about a DRM, title, and I'm looking and going like, why would I want to be paying $60 for those? Then you said this. The free games that you have added to your PlayStation library, you have for a lifetime under subscription. On Game Pass, you're renting, buddy. You have your favorite game you're playing. You hope your favorite game doesn't go off Game Pass, because then you pay anyways. Exactly. If you want, right? If you don't want, you don't pay. Then Game Pass is poop. Microsoft can count 500 million MAUs, but Xbox ain't doing well. See, you could hate Xbox, but don't hate mathematics and don't let facts interfere, with your agenda. In some cases, right? I see some of you walk around with this subjective, reality like, 500 million MAUs is a bad thing. When it was PlayStation themselves, you all like every time that Xbox has something that is going for them, you all have some opinion that tries to go ahead and make it tepid. Whereas 5 years ago, Sony's CEO, right, and Chief Executive Officer Kenichiro Yoshida said that the business should be judged by the number of active users, not the number of hardware units sold. Yet you on YouTube is telling me that they can count all the 500 million, which is 6 times more than PlayStation has, and then you concluded that it's not doing well. If I was going to listen to anybody in terms of the business and video games, it would not be you, simply because you absolutely just butchered a mathematical reality just because you wanted to one-up a $1 trillion company in your mind, while ignoring the $1 billion company that you are cheering for, telling you that the $1 trillion company is actually owning them in that metric. Again, I've said this before. The PlayStation fanboy jumps into these conversations ignoring reality, and in many cases are arguing in bad faith. That's mostly what it is. It's not that, they have a point to make. Some do. Some PlayStation fans have a point to make. But in the face of PlayStation users talking about how the Game Pass value is better, somebody comes in with all of these things and thinks that, you're saying, this is why we block a lot of people. But, there's a lot of news right now, so I'll just let people just talk. But at the end of the day, what this person just said, what is it worth? Nothing. It's just noise. Thanks for watching the video. I apologize if it was something that, bothered you in terms of how weak some of these attempted arguments are. Peace out.